Hi everyone, this is Grégoire Sarafian, Greg if you prefer, from Greg's Whiskey Guide YouTube channel, started in 2019 after I did my website called www.gregswhiskeyguide.com in 2013. Initially the idea was to publish a book, but I struggled to find a publisher. So in 2011, so in 2013, after quite some work to try to transpose 600 pages book to a website with friendly help, I did have some demands, but at the time wasn't so important. But so it's only in 2019 that I started the YouTube channel on an increasing demand of videos from my website audience. So I'm doing now a short update. We're in January 2021. So I'm doing a wee update for the new visitors of the channel, and also maybe the people who didn't really get in depth in my channel, who wants to have an overview, to explain a bit what I did and I'm gonna do in the year that's coming on now. So basically this is a channel about discovering whiskey, but also going a bit more in depth after that. And often with the title of the video you are in position to see what it is all about. Whether it's, for instance, at the moment I'm doing one kind of videos, but I will alternate with others and with live shows, of course. But for instance, at the moment I'm doing face-to-face with two whiskies compared from the same brand, same reference of the whiskey, but from a different period of time. So for instance, I did Ballantine's Finest from the late 70s, early 80s, let's say, comparing it with Ballantine's Finest from 2020, and see what's going on. The difference is of taste, also presentation, also what I suspect in the change of the content, etc. So this is partly an opinion channel, partly a documented channel, because I have a lot of books, and like I said in some videos, I'm self-taught, but I have 20 years of experience, 20 years plus now of experience in whiskey tasting and other spirits tasting also, which helps, I think. And basically I'm trying to do some more, maybe than in other channels, more in-depth reviews of a whiskey or of a series of a whiskey, overview, which can be called sometimes rundown. So basically taking in my collection what I have from let's say Aberlour, and showing you all the Aberlours I have and explaining what's interesting in this one compared to this one, maybe give you some ratings, and also if it's still on the market on what I did search. The most often, and I insist a bit on this thing, when too much information means losing time to taste and explaining about the experience of tasting and what's going on with the whiskey, I will put a presentation, a written presentation of the distillery or independent company or blending company in the description. So please, as a spending some time in the description, please read it. Thank you. So this is, I'm doing an English presentation, and after that I will do a short French presentation from my French audience, right? So I will put timing below, like I did for the first version of the video. This is a second take of the video, so I understood I've been too far in explaining what I will cover here. So even if there's a lot of bottles on the table and everywhere, I'm going to shorten it to tell you in this channel in a more compressed way. I can speak about this basic Scotch blend, which I don't overlook, and it is around, it's a liter there, but it's around 15 euros here, around 10 pounds maybe in UK, and maybe a bit more in dollars, US or Canadian. But I can speak also, and it's another extreme. It's one of the channels where you will hear about high-end whiskies and rare whiskies, and I will put them in perspective, and even more interesting for you guys who didn't try those things, I will give you alternatives of things that are in a way close to these beautiful experience of whiskey that I did have, or I still have sometimes. For instance, I recently opened this Port Ellen, which is my favorite distillery. This is an independent bottling of it, 33 years old. So I can speak about this. I can speak also, I'm going to prepare, for instance, a rundown, or say overview if you prefer, horizontal of Glenlivet 12, all the Glenlivet 12s I did have and I did purchase recently to do the video, but also going back in time to the 80s again with this rare stuff, rare bottle of beautiful Glenlivet 12, which was, by the way, my first single malt in my history around 1998. So self-taught, like I said, but I did have some experience in whiskey blending. I'm an amateur blender. I've been trained a bit for that by John Glazer, which also supports my website. We share together a passion for art, craft, and also blending whiskies. Also, I did participate to some professional blending challenge. Well, I was not a professional, but I was a guest of professional, so they trust me enough to invite me to do that, and we did kind of succeed with that. It was a Chivas Regal, but also did a Whisky magazine French edition contest in 2005, and among 650 people I came at the 12th position, which is not so bad compared to the experience of some of the contestants. I think I will put a link in the description of for those who want to know more about me, about my experience, in a link to my website reference pages, reference/whiskey resume. I'm tending now, as I publish less in my website lately because of all that happened last year. I tend now to put all the most, as when I can, the tasting notes in bilingual, in French and in English, and probably I will put, when it's more internal French market, I will probably stick to the French language, and on the contrary, if it's something that we cannot find here, I'll probably stick to English only, to kind of gain time. But about the YouTube channel, to get back to that, I do reviews of individual whiskies. I do of all the countries. You can see all types: rye, bourbon, single malt, blended malt, whiskies from Taiwan, from India, from the United States, bourbon, rye, even a German rye. And of course French whiskey from Brittany, distillery from Brittany, but it can also be, like one of my favorite of last year, an independent bottling of a whiskey from Alsace by a new company, Roborel de Clemens. In this channel I also speak about classics, whether it's from Campbelltown or from the Orkney Islands. I will also speak about very affordable 19 euros here single malts, even if they're NAS, young distilleries, new distilleries from Scotland, experiments such as this one, which is normally a bourbon distillery but does a lot of experiments. Here it's a straight malt, which is a kind of intermediary between single malts and bourbons, to put it short. But also sherry cask, for those interesting, highlighted here, and in Taiwan with this distillery. The origins of whiskey, I will speak also about this Northern Island distillery, and also about some high-end stuff from Japan, as you can see here, closed distillery. So lots of things covered here, and even like I said, I will do in this year I will also do by popular demand and also a personal interest, something about French, not only whiskies but spirits, especially matured spirits, and of course I have to speak of cognac, especially when we have this version I've just opened, which is clearly targeted to whiskey lovers, with this big 46% ABV, mentions of all unchill filtering and natural color and small batch. So this is a wink to this audience by a great producer, Valentin Tersigny. I did visit a few years ago. Okay, so just a minute. Okay, sorry for interruption. So, like I was saying, in this channel I will speak about whiskey mainly, but sometimes I can speak about music. Here are 3 records. Mirkeer, Volkszanger was my album of the year last year, and I didn't do a video yet, but I mentioned it in several live shows. I'm a metal fan as well, so Black Crown Initiate, it's from 2016, but I just discovered this beautiful Cells We Cannot Forgive album. Indie rock, indie pop, from, no, this is quite old, this, but 2005, 7, I don't remember now. Gravenhurst, Nick Talbot, who passed away a few years ago. Great singer-songwriter and musician. So yeah, from time to time there will be music reviews, but most of the thing is about my channels about music, about whiskey. I'm a painter as well, so yes, when my painting met my whiskey loving thing, I did work with the 2 things, and I did a series about drawings and paintings about whiskey. So we'll put a link below where you can see my website about painting, and the section especially devoted to whiskey and painting. I think it's, yeah, I forgot to speak about live shows. I do live shows from time to time, and I do premieres. I don't know if I'm gonna do as much live shows as premiere, but I like the premiere formula because sometimes there's a few mistakes that I correct in the description, but not only every people is checking out the description, unfortunately. So this is for me one way to correct a bit, as I don't do editing, I forgot to mention. One way to correct things I say in the video, but also to interact with people in the chat, so it's important. And if you want to hear about next videos and live shows, please click the notification bell so you can know what's going on. Because sometimes I also have some prestigious guests, or guests that are, for me, whatever position they have in the industry or in the whiskey world, people who are, for me, interesting enough on a human basis about their commitment, like I had recently David Brody from Bunnahabhain Distillery on the show. People with lots of things to say, lots of story to tell, and sometimes some hidden talents. So check out, for instance, my live with David Brody from Bunnahabhain. I also have some really nerd whiskey guests, prestigious PhD and stuff owners, like Don Livermore, who does Lord 40, check out my live show with him, who kindly went home here with me to do this rare interview. I'm gonna have other guests, mind you, next year. So there you have it, and I'm gonna do after that a quick resume for the French audience in French. So for those who don't speak French, I really thank you so much for subscribing, following, and seeing me so far, and I hope to see you in this year again, because there's a lot of things that are coming on. So thank you, everyone. Maintenant, pour le public français et francophone à l'étranger, voilà, je suis ravi que la partie francophone soit relancée cette année. Ça va avec mon intérêt pour le whisky français, qui a été aussi relancé par de belles découvertes dont j'ai déjà un peu parlé, notamment vérifier le live avec Aymeric Roborel de Climens, qui est un peu mon espoir 2020 du whisky français, et il va probablement être plus, puisque je vais vous en reparler dans des revues individuelles. J'ai dégusté depuis un autre whisky qui m'a vraiment beaucoup plu, toujours de la même société. Dans la version anglaise, je pouvais pas, j'ai essayé de résumer, mais voilà, ce que je voulais vous dire, c'est que je vais couvrir pour la chaîne majoritairement en anglais, mais de temps en temps il y aura des choses en français, pas seulement sur le whisky français, mais bien sûr prioritairement sur le whisky français. Vous pouvez déjà trouver des vidéos en français sur les bases du whisky, la dégustation, qu'est-ce que c'est qu'un blend, etc. Dès qu'une revue sera en français, une vidéo sera en français, je mettrai le drapeau français pour que les gens tout de suite voient que c'est une version française seulement. Et donc je vais faire des vidéos individuelles sur chaque distillerie que j'ai envie de mettre en avant, parce que j'ai des bouteilles ou des échantillons, ou parce que j'ai quelque chose à dire spécialement dessus. Je vais probablement aussi faire des vidéos plus générales où je vais comme ça couvrir rapidement un certain nombre d'échantillons qui me sont que j'ai reçus, et qui voilà, tous ne nécessitent pas forcément une revue en profondeur pour une raison ou pour une autre, et aussi parce que c'est une demande populaire aussi qui m'est réitérée. Je vais aussi vous parler, et parce que ça m'intéresse bien sûr, sinon j'ai pas envie d'en parler, je vais aussi parler d'autres spiritueux, et principalement vieillis en fût, et bien entendu Armagnac, Cognac, mais aussi un peu de Calvados seront importants à nommer. Je choisis ça pour vous montrer, parce que je viens de l'ouvrir et de le recevoir. Ça fait 2 ans, je crois qu'il est sorti, que je voulais goûter ça. Valintersigné, cognac avec gros clin d'œil aux amateurs de whisky. Je sais même pas la peine de vous expliquer pourquoi, si vous connaissez un peu le sujet. Les mentions de filtration, non-filtration, à froid, couleur naturelle, petit lot et 46 degrés. Bon, vous avez compris. Petit, je sais pas plus comment on appelle spoiler en français, petit clin d'œil en avance. Ici on n'est pas loin, comme Serge Valentin l'avait un peu laissé entendre, on n'est pas loin de Balblair niveau stylistique, et bien sûr le côté cognac, l'orange et tout ça un peu plus en avant, mais c'est un côté rustique à la Highlands du Nord. Voilà en gros, donc je vais faire des numéros sur chaque whisky, chaque distillerie qui m'intéresse de France, et aussi un peu sur les distilleries étrangères. Je vais faire aussi des directs avec des producteurs français, autant que possible. Et donc voilà, pour suivre ça, n'oubliez pas de cliquer sur la cloche de notification pour être au courant des prochaines vidéos et directs. Si vous avez aimé, mettez un j'aime, un pouce j'aime. Si vous n'aimez pas, mettez un pouce je n'aime pas. Et s'il vous plaît, aussi diplomatiquement que possible, expliquez-moi pourquoi, ça m'intéresse. Voilà, donc programme chargé pour cette année, que ce soit en français ou en anglais. Donc j'espère vous voir à bord, et merci encore vraiment de me suivre, et je vous dis à très bientôt.